All right, so just a quick introduction. I'm Nick Giambra. For those of people that are watching this video for the first time, we're going to be talking with a seller today, Dr. Bob Crabtree, who owns a building at 1152 Main Street in Buffalo, New York. It's a really special building. From the moment you drive up and take a look at it, you could tell the architectural significance that the property has. And Dr. Bob has been there for a while, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail from Dr. Bob's perspective of what it was like to purchase, own, operate, and now sell the building. So, Doctor, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me, Nick. I'm glad I could be on video and not, have to come back to Buffalo.
Yeah, no, technology is an awesome thing. You're doing this while looking at Lake Erie, so that's super cool. I just shared my screen. I pulled up an image of 1152 Main. So when I go back into the tax record and take a look at when you purchased the property, although you could probably tell me as good as the tax records, but you bought the property how long ago, Dr. Bob?
I took over a lease on the first floor in 1986, and I purchased the property when the lease expired. I want to say 1990.
In 1990.
Uh, the purchase price was $185,000.
What drew you to this one specifically?
Well, I was living on Lafayette Avenue in a beautiful old house, and I was working for a doctor, a dentist around the corner on 50 High Street, which is now obviously gone. And so I was looking for my own office, and I just got introduced to Stuart Alexander, the seller, and the woodwork, was is spectacular, and I was always a big fan of architecture and old buildings. So it just seemed it was a bit of a stretch in 1986, to open up my own practice and renovate this building, et cetera, et cetera. But I just didn't want to be a dentist in a strip plaza. Just put it like that. So
You built a pretty big business there. So over the last 34 years, you've owned and operated a dental practice out of this business or building, correct?
yes, well, I opened up the practice in 1987, so almost 40 years, and I've owned the building for 35 years. Yes.
Were there always four apartments above the office space?
When I took over the lease, Stuart Alexander, who just passed away, moved his landscape design architecture business from the first floor where he was to the second floor, and leased out the first floor to me to open up a dental office. When I bought the building from him in 1990, he vacated and purchased another uh, building. I don't know where, it doesn't matter. So he moved out, and then in 1990, uh, I had two apartments on the second floor, two apartments on the third floor.
Awesome. And then you've had the second floor used as office space over time, but now it's situated as four apartments above the office space.
In a couple years after Stewart moved out, I was doing a lot of dental business with a union, and the Teachers Federation union contacted me and uh, took over the second floor, the entire second floor for uh, office space for the union presidents. And this is not the BTF; it was the NEA, teacher aid. So there was 1,500 members. So they were all my patients, and I was participating dentists. And the union was upstairs for, I don't know, almost 15 years.
What was it like to have the practice on the first floor and have the apartments on the second? Was that beneficial to the business, to you? Talk to us about that.
Absolutely no impact. The fact that the four apartments, we'll just say four, rental units above me, uh, paid, always paid, um, all the expenses plus on the building. So essentially, I always had a free um, office space on the first floor, and I was depreciating the building, and I was getting appreciation of the real estate, and I was still making money that I showed on my Schedule E every year. So the building for me made a a substantial amount of money over the years, over the 35 years of collecting rent, and I always had a free office. And the pride, you know, for me, of owning my own building and being able to do whatever I wanted to restore and improve the property.
And the location is second to none. It's right in downtown Buffalo, surrounded by a bunch of giant buildings. And through our conversations, you mentioned to me how many, professionals that work downtown that you're able to attract as customers to the dental office because of the location of that building.
Well, yes. I mean, I've been there for so long. When I bought the building, they had just put the rapid transit in, the subway, and the neighborhood was a little, uh, I don't want to say run down. It was just hadn't been gentrified yet, and so I was the only dental office down there. There was a couple on Linwood Avenue behind me, but once all the derelict buildings, the subway station got built up, and all the businesses around me just businesses everywhere. Uh, so it was just centrally located, and I was able to draw from the medical corridor a lot of downtown people, but more lawyers on like Delaware Avenue and Elmwood than I would say physicians from like Roswell and Buffalo General and that. But now I get more was getting more medical students now that the medical school opened up 2 blocks down.
Now, for a brief moment, can we talk about the architectural significance of the building? We know it's just under 7,900 square feet. We know that it's currently situated as office on the first floor, four apartments on the second. But you don't find these types of buildings often. And I don't think any real estate market, sandstone, brick, stone, lintels, and all the details. Can you talk to us a little bit about the architectural significance of this building specifically?
Well, just to be clear, uh, the first, second, and third floor encompasses 6,000 square feet of space above grade, and there is a 2,000 square foot, semi-finished basement that you've been down in there. So the history of the building, it was built in 1889 by one of the largest brewers in Buffalo at the time, a Charles Weigand, opened up a giant brewery at Main and Tupper, where Schmidt's, well, I don't know what it is now, Schmidt's Collision was next to the Cyclorama building. So he lived there with his family until 1945. Well, he died in 1907, doesn't matter. And then in 1945, it was converted into commercial space on the first floor, four apartments up above. So architecturally, the only thing that they did was they took the grand staircase and turned it into an exterior uh, entrance and staircase coming from the exterior of the building to give all the four apartments a front and rear egress, which of course is code. So every apartment has two means of egress to get out of the building, and the basement has one, two, three means of egress to get out of the basement. Um, in order to turn the basement into something commercial, which I looked into putting a antique shop down there years ago. I just had to improve a couple doors to be fireproof for fire standards. But so architecturally, it's just a three-story brick building. The interesting thing about it is it's one of the very few buildings in Buffalo that has a voussoir, which is a exterior enclosed porch. So it's all brick enclosed, but it's interior to the building, but it's open to the outside, which is just a lovely architectural feature. But more importantly, it's just nice to hang out there because it's, you know, rainproof and whatever. So it's got beautiful corbels. It's got it's all Medina foundation and a lot of terracotta detail, which is, which is unusual and just very attractive to me. Oh, there you go. There's a voussoir. You can see the voussoir.
And you have 14 parking spaces around the building?
I call it 15, 15 plus. If you're looking at that picture, there's 6 in the front, and I created a personal parking spot right in front of the building on the uh, their old patio, and then there's 6 in the back, and then 3 on the side between myself and the gray building, and then there's some grassed area where contractors and temporary people just, you know, stick a car, so they don't interfere with building between me and 11 Summer Street.
When you think of, I mean, you were at this property for so long. When you think of the next purchaser, like who in your mind is the most likely person to purchase this type of building and to, realize the same benefits that you had?
Well, honestly, when I renovated all the apartments in 2015, and I got a little carried away at a couple of the apartments with improvements. But the front apartment next to the voussoir uh, has a 450-foot living room with Brazilian mahogany, with floor to ceiling windows. And I sort of designed that room years ago for the Buffalo Board of Education. But it's a would be a beautiful conference room for attorneys. And then the other apartment on the second floor has 2 9 by 12 bedrooms, which there were offices in, and another huge living room that was the office for union president. So if I was an attorney starting out or with a partner or something, the proximity to the rapid transit across the street, you can be downtown in court in 5 or 6 minutes. You don't have to park. You don't have to drive. Um, you could have mansion space on the first floor, beautiful offices on the second floor, and then the third floor is a very nice New York style, loft apartment that you've been in. That could be a pied a terre, and then the other apartment on the third floor could be a guest apartment for people coming in from out of town for, a meeting, rather than putting them up at a hotel. Or an associate, an employee could live there for a reduced um, rent and keep an eye on the place. So uh, I always set it up for a law firm, a small law firm, not, giant law firm. And parking. It's got lots of parking.
Yeah, that's something you don't find often in the city of Buffalo with commercial buildings is enough parking to substantiate all of the users of the building. So you have enough for office and for the tenants so you can maximize rent, or performance throughout all 8,000 plus square feet.
I gave each of my apartments one free parking space across the street in the apartment building. They charge $75 a month for a parking space. So my tenants were always happy, but um, a lot of my tenants just love taking the buses or the train. So yeah, lots of parking.
Talk to us now about why the building's going to be on the market. What's going on? And, buyers always ask, hey, why is the seller selling? So this is your opportunity to tell everybody why you're selling the building.
Yeah, well, I love the building. I get emotionally attached to real estate. You can see this place behind me that I bought in 2016, 2007. 2007. Anyway, I'm retired after 43 years of dentistry. I'm done. I don't practice anymore, so I had a dentist lined up to purchase my practice, and I was going to lease to them, and that did not work out. So rather than bring a new commercial tenant in on the first floor and manage the building, I'm just selling the building and moving on with my retirement up at the beach.
Nice. Spending more time looking at the lake every day.
All day, every day. Yes.
How come us? Why are you looking? I know we've been talking for maybe the last 6 months. We potentially were interested in purchasing the building from you, putting our office on the first floor, but we think it's in your best interest to list the building for sale. How come you feel comfortable with us as your point person helping manage this sale of this transaction?
Honestly, when I first uh, sort of decided to sell the building, one of my very dear friends and patients is a real estate attorney in New York City. So he was like, "Well, I'll represent you in this building," and he's a wonderful guy, but he's 450 miles away, and he wasn't able to show the building to prospective buyers. So I had to sort of do that myself, and that just really wasn't good. So when I met you, probably through him, um, I mean, you're very competent and young and I don't want to say ambitious, but you've got all the modern marketing tools compared to old school, like putting a sign on the front of the building, which is all he did. So I'm very confident with your marketing skills and your passion for selling real estate and you know making a deal.
Yeah, we love making deals that work for everybody, and we love representing assets that look like yours. And really looking forward to working together with you to hit one out of the park and make sure that we get every single dollar that exists for this building.